We are back here going over my top 10 users in Madden 24. Now today, we actually do have some safeties added to the list. This is the first time in a little while I've been all aboard the linebackers, but they've dropped some safeties that I actually think are pretty interesting users. Now we're gonna get started right here at a number 10 spot. This isn't my thoughts on them as an overall card. It's just them as a user. And that's gonna be the Lurk Artist mid-zone for 0 guys, Demario Davis and Fred Warner. I don't think they are bad users by any means. It's just, I think their value as a coverage player makes them a number 10 for me compared to number top 5. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they are bad users by any means. Do not have the takeaway from this video that I think Demario Davis or Fred Warner are bad cards. I just think they're better used elsewhere. Their value is elsewhere. So Demario Davis, 94 speed, 99 acceleration, 6'2" height as well, 90 zone coverage. But this time for abilities, again, Lurk Artist and mid zone for 0 AP. I think that's the main thing you would run on them. And also I have very similar thoughts to Fred Warner as well. This time 95 speed, 97 acceleration, 6'3" height, and again for him, Lurk Artist and mid zone for 0 AP. So I like the cards a lot. Just for me, they're more of coverage players. They're not really people that I'm hey, I want to user them. You know what I'm saying? I still think they can be sort of effective too. A pretty effective strategy people are doing now is with mid zone on the user, they put themselves into a zone so they can knock things out themselves. Really beneficial in heavy pressure defenses. Not really good in a send 3 style of defense. If you're in a dollar, a 6-1 setting, try that out. Send 6, send 5 people at them. And if you keep your user in that zone, you can get the knockouts that they would if they were in the zone, if that makes sense. Now, right above them for me, I still have Tremaine Edmonds. I love this card for really one reason, and 94 speed, 95 acceleration. He does have the height of 6'5". He does a little bit taller than Fred Warner and Demario Davis, a little bit worse from a physical stat standpoint, but I think his user abilities is a little bit better. The impact blocking is a little bit low, but the thing for me about Tremaine Edmonds, okay, the reason why I like him, right, as a user, the reason why I would run him over them as a pure user, mid-zone Lurk Artist for 1 is okay, whatever, that's cool, that's a good coverage player thing, but he also gets secure tackler for 0. I think secure tackler is so valuable on the user, just with the amount of pre-lit running backs you could play, even if you're running momentum shift. The AKA guys like Emmett Smith, these guys that are on for 5 plays, off for 5 plays. There's still potential to get it, and just having that on the user, just making sure they just don't break tackles in general. I just think that's so valuable, man, and that's something that I am looking for on my user. So you could potentially not even run mid-zone on him. You could go Lurk Artist, secure tackler, which again, I like a lot on Tremaine Edmonds. That's why he's ahead of them for me. Now we basically got Tremaine Edmonds Jr. right here with Brian Bosworth. They're kind of the same card in my opinion. Now he does have a little bit higher acceleration, but he's a little bit shorter too. To me, I was 50-50 on him. I could see either way. 95 speed, 97 acceleration for Brian Bosworth. He does have a little bit higher impact blocking too. It's just, I literally toss up for me. You could go either direction in that, but Bosworth this time, again, the thing on him, the reason why I'm running him, for me, it's not the avalanche he gets as an X factor, is the fact that you could get Lurk Artist, Enforcer, and potentially Tackle Supreme for 1. Now, the reason why Tackle Supreme for 1 is good is Tackle Supreme also has Unfakeable in it, okay? So Unfakeable is the counter for Jukebox. And I don't know if you guys have been playing Jukebox a lot, but damn man, this is pretty nice. So yeah, I have very similar thoughts to him and Tremaine Edmonds. Again, Lurk Artist, mid-zone, Enforcer as well. You could go either which way on them. And I think getting the Tackle Supreme, I don't think it's crazy to spend 1 AP on him, again, especially as a user, because one of the most annoying things for me is usering someone and getting faked out by Jukebox. So I like Brian Bosworth. He's a little bit better physical stats, a little bit better impact blocking. It was 50-50 him versus Tremaine Edmonds. All right, now at number 7 right here, we have our first safety of the video. It's going to be Jamal Adams, aka Prez. Now, I think he is a great sub linebacker. Now, he's 99 speed, 97 acceleration, 6'1", 99 zone coverage, block shed, impact blocking, all phenomenal. Now, when we look at his traits, does have the big hitter trait on yes, which we do like to see, but the big thing for me is abilities. Now, pre-lit X factors to me on the user. Avalanche is cool, sure, but it's not really something that I'm oh, you need this on the user. Does get persistent for 0, but also this time just for base abilities. Enforcer Supreme and Pick Artist for 0. I think that's the big one. Also mid-zone KO and Pick Artist for 0, or mid-zone KO and Enforcer Supreme for 0. So Enforcer Supreme, okay, they don't allow broken tackles. You land a hit stick, right? If you land a hit stick on bowing them, they're not going to be able to enter the zone. So this is kind of I don't want to say a built-in momentum shift, but kind of if you can land a hit stick, okay, which at times I know easier said than done, right? But I just think that's valuable. I like him as a sub linebacker. I really always have Jamal Adams as a sub linebacker. Now at number 6 for me is going to be Zaven Zaven Collins with 97 speed, 96 acceleration. He is 6'4", 98 finesse moves, 97 power moves. But this right here is kind of why I wouldn't user him, but he's a damn good user. But for his abilities, okay, so this is his LTD version, so he does get Edge Shred Elite potentially for 0 as well. But just base abilities on like the free card, you could go Lurk Artist mid zone or Lurk Artist secure tackler. Tall player, great physical stats. For me, the reason why he's not higher is because, again, I just think of him more as a hybrid player, like could rush the passer, could drop into a zone. So for me, that hurts his value as a user. If you do user him, I think he's really good at it. It's just, I think you're losing value elsewhere. So that's why he's a little bit lower on the list for me. And now at number 5 for me is going to be Isaiah Simmons with 97 speed, 93 acceleration. This time 94 block shed, 94 impact blocking, 6'4" height yet again. And this time for his abilities, he's actually not that insane from an ability standpoint. Like he's just Lurk Artist for 0, which I mean, again, you could maybe say, hey, like Zaven Collins is a better user. I get that. But for me, Isaiah Simmons is just a pure user. And for me, that's why he's ahead of Zaven. Like you're not really losing value elsewhere if you user Isaiah Simmons. And like I said, he's just Lurk Artist for 0, but 6'4". The speed's great. The height's great. So that's why he's making the list for me. Now, also someone right here that I'm mentioning right alongside Isaiah Simmons is John Madden. It's actually like 11 to 12 cards now, but the reason why I'm kind of like 50-50 whether to include him or not, there's a lot of people that still haven't gotten the welcome pack, and I'm guessing they're gonna like say an update or something on the stream later tonight. But I mean, he's 96 speed, gets all 32 team chems, so on a full 50-50 theme team could be 98 speed. He also, from an ability standpoint, does get a pretty solid one too. He gets what's called Lurk Artist plus Out of My Way for 0 AP on your user, or you could go the mid zone as well. So I did want to go ahead and mention him. Now at number 4, we get my number 1 user safety, and I could actually see him being higher as well. I think he is just a perfect slot corner, a perfect sub linebacker, and like a dollar or dime based defense. It's gonna be Rodney Harrison, 6'1" height, 97 speed, 97 acceleration, 95 agility, 97 change of direction, and this time great block shed, impact blocking. The big thing for me and why he made the list and why other safeties just haven't been making the list are his abilities. For me, I would run mid zone and tackle supreme for 0. You could do pick artist, tackle supreme, but the mid zone, once again, like perfect sub linebacker, won't get the like fake out animations of like a jukebox. I love this card. For me, he's a great slot corner. I think if anything, this card is going to be criminally underrated by a ton of people, and I might be even underrating him myself. He may be a little bit higher for you. I think he's the best user safety just with his abilities. I get the height isn't there, but I mean 6'1", it's not like he's like 5'9", you know what I'm saying? So I love this Rodney Harrison card. Could see him being higher. He's at number 4 for me. And now at number 3, I'm gonna have Ed O'Neill. This card is just, he's by no means worth his price, but 97 speed, 99 acceleration, great pass rusher as well, block shed, impact blocking, great, 6'1". This card is very similar to our number 1 option, and great man coverage, great zone coverage. I really have no complaints on the card. It's just a different style of user, right? So this card can go ahead and get Lurk Artist and secure tackler for 0 as well. Again, for me, there's really no weakness to this card as a user. Top 3 for me is like 1A, 1B, 1C. Like I could see any argument, but Ed O'Neill, he's more similar style to our number 1 option, because the way you would user with him is you would be on the receiver's hip compared to like lurking low. You have the change of direction. You have basically everything to keep up with the receivers, which I do think is nice. And also, like I said earlier, I'm really valuing secure tackler on the user versus all these prelits. Now this right here is going to make some people be like, Dill, you don't know ball. But Ted Hendricks is number 2 for me, not number 1. Now I know that's going to be crazy to a lot of people. The reason for me why he's not number 1, like I get he's 6'7", I get the 97 speed, I get the 99 acceleration. For me, it's literally one thing, and that is just the secure tackler. Now I have heard, by the way, he gets pancaked a lot because it's low impact blocking. When I used him, I didn't have that issue. I'm just telling you what some people have told me. I'm not trying to make this card seem bad by any means. For me, it was like 1A, 1B, 1C. I try to be as honest as possible with y'all. I love Ted Hendricks as a user, Lurk Artist and medium route KO. You'd go tackle supreme and Lurk Artist for 2, which just at this point, in my opinion, isn't really feasible. It's Lurk Artist, medium route KO, and again, you can man people up and do the things like people do with mid zone KO. So by no means do I think Ted Hendricks is bad. In my opinion, I think this Bo Jackson is the best user. He's my favorite user. And again, this is my personal list. I can see Ted being number 1. If you say Ted's number 1, I'm not going to say you're wrong. If you say Ed O'Neill's number 1, not going to say you're wrong. The reason why I have Bo Jackson ahead of him, it's 2 different style of users. I feel like Bo Jackson gets to everything with this speed, acceleration, agility, change of direction. And also when we look at abilities, the big thing for me, the big selling point is the secure tackler. Lurk Artist, secure tackler 4-0. Bo and Ed O'Neill are pretty similar. I think Bo is a little bit better from like an agility, change of direction standpoint. standpoint, yeah, that's why Bo is number 1 for me. Again, I can see Ted Hendricks is not to say Ted Hendricks can't be argued number 1. For me though, I like Bo the best. And again, it's my opinion. So yeah, I think you can have an opinion either which way. So yeah, boys, I hope y'all did enjoy the video, man. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, stay updated with the best cards in Madden. Now, if you guys do want to go ahead and see me use some of these cards live, I stream every single day, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. To watch on the YouTube side of things, make sure to hit that noti bell. You'll be notified every time I upload or go live here. Or to watch on Twitch, check the links in the description, hit that Twitch with a follow. But if you guys do want another video to watch, check out this one right here, because I rank the best defensive tackles in Madden 24.